What's up, guys? So we can see here a 20-minute video with this guy, J200, and Pred gets caught and jumps in the sea. And the basic video is, he introduces the situation, he introduces the accomplice. Then they sting the guy, and then there's a short walk, and then they're at a taxi rank. Okay, interesting. And then after that, they're near the fountain, which is right near the taxi rank, and then they walk off, right? So that's the story there. And let's just have a look at the comments. I don't know what that's in reference to. Here, so respect to you for bringing the evidence to the police station, because that Mr. Gaywood was a full-on NPC. So I leave comments, but they actually I'm blocked from the channel, so they don't actually get through. So that's why I made this video. So at the end there is a point where I gotta go through this ad. But at the end there is a point where they show up at the police station, right? I think it's here. Yeah, they're outside the National Police Station. They don't film, and it's just him, bro. It's just him and the camera guy. He doesn't speak any Spanish. His camera guy doesn't speak any Spanish. There's nobody waiting for them in the police station. He's going to walk in there, not speaking Spanish, and he's going to be like, oh, I have a chat log of a guy that was pretending to be a 15-year-old and asking for sex over a period of months. And, it got kind of gross, so here we go. Yeah, that's not going to go very far. We actually moved from here to the taxi rank because I was trying to get them all in a taxi to go straight to the police station, and they were not interested at all throughout any of that. So the police is the last place they'd want to go, because this guy, let's have a look. I've got this guy keeps coming up to me saying, "Oh, you don't know our names. You don't know our names." But I got your faces, so. This guy and his accomplices, I don't know whether they're girls, they're young guys, whatever. They will go on to Instagram accounts, social media accounts. They'll pretend to be young women, and they'll harass you for months asking for sex. And when you call them out and say, "Look, I know that you're not this person. If you can stop." They'll just keep like doubling down, like, no, I'm real, no, I'm legit, please have sex with me and stuff like that. And so eventually I said, look, let's just meet up because this is just so weird. And they actually released that clip on their Instagrams, which they then took down because it made them look retarded. Anyway, let's have a look more at the comments. So yeah, they've got not much interest to go to the police because what they're doing is just not very right. Let's see, talking about him getting a gold play button. This one was a bit weird. Yeah, it was very weird. Yellow teeth. Yeah, it's called the cigarette and coffee diet. When you go into homelessness and poverty, maybe you'll try it, especially when it's so cheap down here. Disgusting. Not sure who trolled who. This guy gets it. I think he was drunk. He hopped off with his glasses too. I was not drunk. I was incredibly sleep deprived, though. I should have been sleeping. This guy, Steve Palfrey, bro. This BKP is my son, the guy that pretends to be a 15-year-old girls and sexts with like multiple people at a time. That's his son, so he's glad that his son does that. That's cool. Let me see here from Discord. Yeah, the Discord is kind of silent on the topic. Let's have a look. Summertime moment, great vid. Why did he admit it so quick? Because I'd already called them out for catfishing, so I wasn't really too surprised at this point. Yeah, I put nothing to hide here. Can delete that because I'm blocked, so it doesn't come up anyway. Yeah. Yeah, the water gun has some kind of sugar stuff in it. I remember from a kid. I don't know if this is a prank or legit. If it's legit, oh my, stop filming and go to a next place with it, him. So they tried to do that. They tried to take me to a private place to, do whatever with the cameras off. But we ended up just hanging around in a somewhat public place. And they did try to rob me. They tried to gang rape me. They physically assaulted me and stuff. But nothing too extreme. Nothing that nobody has gone through being approached by gangs before in Puerto Banús. Did he get arrested? Nope, because they did not want the police involved. Because they're a bunch of just like mugging thieves that like try to make a show of sexual morality, and it's weird. The rap was pretty funny. I would disagree with that, but whatever. £40 to pay for the Patreon, where you get all the unfiltered NSFW stuff. Did he get charged? No. Why was he so chill? Because I got nothing to hide and nothing to lose. And the amount of like bad acting that these like children are doing, these like 15 to whatever year olds, they're acting like children anyway. To just be like consistently every single day messaging people and trying to like implicate them and asking them for all. I don't know, it's really weird. Like, I can put up the full story of how it all came about, but right now I'm just going through the comments here of what people think. But basically chill, because I got nothing to worry about, because I've already called out these people, and I was simply answering and incriminating myself sufficiently so that they would feel confident in meeting up. Because if you didn't give them all the answers that they wanted, then they'd be like, oh, well, I can't meet up with you because it's not incriminating enough. So after I called them out for catfishing, I'm like, okay, these guys are still persistent, so I'm just going to give them every single thing they want, and then give them a date to meet up. And if they don't meet up that date, then just block them. So that date came up, and we met up. Didn't block him, and finally I realized and saw who was behind the accounts. Watching the whole thing. This bloke is off his head. Just call the police just in case they do something about it. They should have most certainly come with the police. That's if this group was actually serious and wanted to and give justice and stuff. Hate him or love him, he's funny. No, yeah, they don't know who they're talking about there. They should have uploaded to the dark web with a different ending. Trust me, they would have wanted to. They did try to gang rape at the end, but they failed. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah and the angels. Next time, act like the child they thought they was talking to is real, because I think they can get away with it if they know that. Yeah, that would be interesting. But like, even if a 15-year-old is real, and they're messaging you constantly for sex, that is a criminal offense. They can go to jail for that. Underage women have gone to jail in the UK for that. So even if it is an underage child and they just constantly are harassing you for sex, that is a crime. Nobody should be doing that to anyone. Nobody should be doing that to anyone except a husband to his wife, for the most part. Ha! Even then. This seems so staged. He's not 40. Surely this is fake. There's an incredibly large amount of fakeness involved. Whenever they would turn the camera off, they'd say, oh yeah, now being human. It's like, well, if you weren't human then, what the hell are you doing, I want to kind of expand this, but, I don't know if you guys are struggling to read it. Anyway. Looks so fake. This is more fake than my will to live. Stop lying, it's real. If it's fake, why are you watching these videos? Okay, people are fighting. You don't need to swear on anything. Amen. That's literally what the Bible teaches. It says don't swear on God, don't swear on, your cow, just don't swear on anything. I bet most 12 to 16-year-old girls watch your videos and now know him. If you do another one, you disguise as the girl. Is the guy going to meet up and die laughing? Was that guy from the UK and went to Spain to meet y'all? No, I grew up here. They came to my domain for some reason. They thought that would be smart. Clickbait, interesting for content. and that's it. And then people saying that he fell off. This is staged, somewhat staged. Um, it is somewhat staged because I knew that something was up, and so I said meet up or we just forget about it, and here they are. The most like disturbing thing for me is the amount of sexting that this guy does pretending to be a young girl. Freaks me out, man. Like that must suck. But it's the OSRS phenomena here in real life, and yeah, it's so funny that they were commenting on my appearance and stuff. And the closer they got to me, I could just see like food on their cheeks and like they just woken up and stuff. And yeah, it was weird that they made me call my dad, but I guess he was the only one to pick up. And yeah, so I can talk about the actual experience of them, like in terms of the account that they like hoodwink you on. But actually, in terms of police investigation, I have got a name and I've got a face, or I've got two faces of the people that tried to rob me and rape me. But yeah, I got a name because for some reason they decided to let an old school friend, I say friend, but an old school colleague, an old school mate, they decided to tell him about it all. And so that guy added me on Facebook and messaged me. So now I have a name. I know we went to school. I know his brothers and sisters, his parents. And so when a police report is opened, that's a name that they can investigate because that guy will know the people involved, including the people that are on the anonymous accounts asking for sex all across Marbella. Maybe they can work with police, or they can, like stop being so like retarded with their approach. If you get called out for catfishing, for being someone you're not, you should just admit it and teach a moral lesson at that point. You shouldn't just double down and then expect to teach a moral lesson. It's like, yo, I lied to your face like 100 times. Get served, oh, justice, bro. It's like, okay, well, I don't get it. And yeah, I can make another video on their methods. On their methods and of the depravity here in Puerto Manus, because the story is really messed up, and I understand why they didn't want to go to the police at all, considering. So yeah, I'll just put this one up for now, just as a pre-post. Then we can go into more details later. All right, see ya.